Shadow, no barking, please. Hi, everyone. It's Cheryl Millett live at 5 Mondays on Facebook. We have a few things to bring to light today. And one of those things is based off of aromas. And it's really just, food for thought or health for thought or whatever it is. So let's get to it because there's some other things that I want to read off. In this week's Live at 5, actually I read something here today just to take notice. So when we are moving around our environment, so to speak, we can have many different aromas. And this was just an interesting thing that came up, and I'll link it down below. But one of the things that came up today was the aroma of books. So who knew? Of course, we can pick up a book and we can smell it like we can do many other things. But books, old or new, can actually give off a volatile compounds, as they call them, VOC. And these compounds would have, different origins. Based on the ink they used, how they made the paper, how they glued the binding, all these different things. And probably throughout the ages and how they did it would actually work differently. So that was kind of interesting because old books gave off, so like ethyl benzene, benzaldehyde, and these things, which they say over time it's partially because things break down, and they have in the breakdown you have these gassing. In some respects they call that off-gassing when it comes to even furniture, new clothes, carpets, those kind of things. They use certain chemicals to make it, but they also use chemicals to protect it. Whether you want to think of, wrinkle-free or stain-proofing, those kind of things. So the new books, it's more to do with, the paper and the inks, and they say hydrogen peroxide, which is a bleaching agent, but, some people drink hydrogen peroxide. And certain other chemicals here I probably can't pronounce, ethyl ketene dimer, and again it's based off adhesive and paper and ink, but I don't think anybody here picks up their books and sniffs books, so to speak. Maybe glue in the good old days, but so I really just kind of wanted to mention that interesting thing that there's interesting facts out there, and it's just kind of a share. But I want to bring back some attention to a particular unfolding that came in. Now, I know I've talked about pharmaceutical drugs or the money power outcome and that kind of thing. What unfolded in my thing here, hello everyone, is something, I'm just going to bring it up because I actually just kind of posted, was a person who had some issues with PCOS, if you know what that is. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, something like that. Anyway, so no insulin resistance, but she was recommended by doctors to go on metformin. That's type 2, whatever, it's some blood sugar issues that helps manage blood sugar issues by a prominent hormone specialist. So anyway, she was told that the diagnosis was not at all recommended by her current doctor, so it's something by afternoon, and in fact could be harmful to her, and that her blood work back then was stellar, and it may actually explain major health concerns that she's had started since taking the medication. So she had never been sick the year before, she had never been in a hospital, she's been just a pillar of health. And before starting the medication, she does wish that she got a second opinion. So for all of us, second opinions, as we ask people, even just friends, should I buy this? Should I do? I wish that she had trusted her gut, but she didn't, and she blindly trusted an authority. Again, it's kind of going back to putting on ourselves, right? It's learning to trust our gut, and sometimes these experiences they give us experiences that are we able to share with people and have them, understand. So it is what it is, so to speak. But for 10 months, she became the sickest ever that she'd ever been in her life. And she is now she's weaned off of the medication, and now she's medication free and feeling really, really good. So in that kind of messaging, with that message that she put out there, several people piped in. And people were piping in as into saying, thanks for sharing. I actually had been, how can I say it, diagnosed with something, and they also gave them metformin and hadn't been feeling well either. And so this person's husband is actually in the pharmaceutical company, or had been in the pharmaceutical company. And so, things are going to help us, and things are going to not help us. And I don't think any one doctor sometimes can say that they know exactly what the outcome is when trying something. I would tend to say to all of us that if we just have a decent diet, or at least think about what our diet is at, and our activity level and our stress level, that we could probably peel away the onion a little bit and see what's kind of left over. But I talked about intuition the other time, and it is really trying to focus on listening to our gut, listening to the symptoms that are going on, but listening to the gut. So other people commented on that, doctors are but guessing. Of course, they're just working with what they got, right? They're giving information on medicines. They're giving information on how to remedy certain situations, and they're going to take their personal view as well, and where they go with that. So what was else here? So there's kind of lengthy conversations here. I'm not sure if I want to. So this person says, thank you for sharing. I've been taking metformin for about a year for the same reasons. And she didn't have any symptoms either. And then she'd seen 3 doctors that said I should definitely take it. And another one said that it's absolutely not the right thing. So what do? 3 doctors say it's okay, 1 doctor doesn't. The sad thing is that the one who seemed to be more my philosophy was not covered by insurance. And so are there other things, she's just asking this person, there's other things that you are doing. So, obviously we're learning from each other. But this is the one thing it's kind of a setup for all of us anyway, where certain things are covered, be it like drugs, be it that the doctor's appointments. And we can fall into going, well, if it's not covered, then I can't afford to, to approach alternative, or to, go down that path. And I'm not going to say it's a trap per se, but it's possibly one of those things that we've got to make the decision what's better for us, what's better for us. And does it mean it's, millions of dollars or thousands of dollars, and it's money you don't have? But at the same time, there is, maybe guide it to see somebody and give it a chance, or listen to what this person has to say. Quite often, I think the common sense things, again, peel back the onion, look at your diet, keep things simple, read some blogs. There's a lot of information out there for guidance, and to explore that as an option where we're taking our health into our own hands. So this person was just put on injections. This is another person, and the reason for her inflammation was super high levels of estrogen. And there's lots of diagnoses here, but in the end it was hormonal. And thyroid had been treated incorrectly, and my adrenals are dead, and I'm not producing any testosterone. So for females, we still need all of the hormones, right? And she went through 3 years of feeling as though slowly dying, and it came to 3 months ago, and she couldn't get out of bed. And she knew that it was something else, and everyone just placed on Band-Aids and finally found the right doctor. Now, yes, always trust your gut, as this person said. So there's a couple of things here. One is, yes, trust the gut. Another thing is the Band-Aids. So quite often, I mean, we're looking at symptoms. And in writing my book, one of the key things is you can't look at the symptom to determine what the cause is, because the cause is different than what the symptom is. And we can kind of trail it back. But it's kind of a very lengthy discussion to kind of dive into symptoms, cause. But here's the thing. Quite often these medicines that are created are actually synthetic. You know, they're not from nature. They may be derived originally from nature. The thinking about it is from nature initially, perhaps, but they're synthetic. And the other thing is to understand, if we want to look at the cause of things, then we're really looking at the root cause. We're not medication deficient. If anything, what the medications are doing, if you really explore, yes, they're taking away pain, they're managing inflammation, but they're kind of interfering with our normal body responses. And pain is there for a reason. So, I mean, people are going to make their choices. And I have to say, you just got to make your choice and see what the experience is and go from there. Maybe that's what you're meant to do. So far be it for me to interfere with, you know, what things are supposed to unfold. So ideally, just, just today, again, we're kind of dove a little bit into medications back there as well. And we mentioned about aromas. I mean, if something is smelling good like lemon and water, well, that's nature. You know, that's natural. And certainly, you know, other things like perfume. I'm just going to mention this one last thing. I have a friend who can actually see more of what's going on. Let's just say that. And getting on to aromas is that what she saw is different in the past number of years, is that she can actually see how let's say the fragrance in things, the aroma in things are actually attaching on to the air molecules. So they're traveling further and they're hanging around longer, which in some cases, if you have one of those car, smelly things, I just call it that, or if you have fabric softener, or if you have fragrances in your creams and so forth, and perfumes even, you want the smell to hang. Most people want the smell to hang around longer, and quite often in the past they wouldn't, and they'd only go so far. So maybe this is a way chemistry is figuring out and solving, where they can keep those synthetic chemicals and smells that they inevitably have hang around in the air, right? So just keep that in mind when we're thinking of all the smelly stuff. Where's that coming from? Is it synthetic and you're smelling it? And if you're smelling it, that means it's going in here, which is going into the brain, which brings me back to the situation of using metformin for hormonal things, which is when we have hormonal imbalances, we really should be looking at the nervous system. And that is a key precursor to hormone. I mean, where are a number of the key hormones? Well, the hormones are all around, but the glands themselves, there's a number of them in the brain, be it the master gland and so forth. So just kind of keep that in mind, where the nervous system are when we're thinking about hormonal issues that way. Other than that, I'm going to just wrap it up. So hormones, well, yeah, we all have them, and we want to have a healthy balance of them. And how do we do that naturally? And there's probably many ways and unique ways for everybody. And back to aromas. So what aromas are you smelling? And is it actually going to be good for you? Is it, brain, affecting the brain, those kind of things. So just be aware of your aromas and where they're kind of coming from. So I just want to say goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming on. Have a great evening and look forward to next Monday.